India, a subcontinent of diversity and contrasts, has attracted and fascinated travellers from time immemorial. Often, India's charms didn't allow them to leave. India's unsettled past, its diverse culture, art and architecture make up a great mosaic that fascinates its visitors. The India of Hindu temples, mosques, sanctuaries in rock and medieval fortresses contrasts sharply with the India of rural landscapes and virgin scenery. "80% of India's more than 1 billion inhabitants live in the country. It's a simple, hard life. The more children you have, the wealthier you are here. But even the poorest of the poor are hospitable and invite visitors with a mixture of friendliness and curiosity. If you get closer to India's diversity and uniquity, you will find a fascinating country." The newcomer trying to find his way through the jumble of honking cars, bikes, rickshaws and other means of transport in the street is observed with curiosity. Old Delhi, the beautifully coloured and disordered historical centre of Delhi, stirs all your senses and invites you to feel the atmosphere of India as a whole, with more than a wealth of people and countless sacred cows. A rickshaw ride is one of the safest and at the same time the most thrilling ways to travel through the transportation jumble in Old Delhi. The intense life of the historical centre goes on right next to you, while drivers avoid obstructions with unbelievable precision. The biggest crowd is at the bazaar in the centre of Old Delhi. Here you sell, trade and barter. It doesn't matter whether you deal in fruits or fabric. The scent of dozens of kinds of spices floats over the bazaar. Right here you can buy kilograms of many typical Indian hot spices. Life in Old Delhi goes on in the street where both people and animals calmly withstand the rush of the city. There is food cooked here for the workers in this quarter at the edge of the street. The main component of simple food is typically a wheat bread that serves at the same time as a spoon for dal, a lentil mash. The Red Fortress towers over the medieval Oriental Old Town like a pinkish mirage. When you visit the Red Fortress, you must use your imagination. When the palace was completed in 1648, silk roofs covered its halls and inner gold, silver and precious stones. Today its former splendour is marked only by its mighty structures. Shah Jahan had his idea of a palace carved into marble. If there is a paradise on earth, then it is here. The Friday Mosque, the largest mosque in India, dominates a small hill above the Red Fortress. Religion is one of the elementary parts of Indian culture. Faiths include Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, Christians, and many other religious communities. More than 80% of Indians are Hindus. Their temples form not only religious but also social and cultural centres for their communities. In New Delhi, the Baha'i temple, in the shape of a lotus flower with marble petals, symbolises the worship of beauty of creation and of light and growth. Religion also gave strength to a man whose passive resistance against oppression has become a legend, Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi's memorial pays homage to the non-violent fighter who overturned British colonial power with his philosophy. In 1947, after a century of British rule, India won independence. In modern New Delhi, which was architecturally designed by the English, you find yourself among prestigious buildings. The federal state of Rajasthan, literally a country of kings, lies to the southwest of Delhi. The vast majority of the Indian population live in the country. Thanks to improved irrigation systems, life in the country isn't an everyday struggle for survival anymore. It is still hard and people are poor. Many people in the country still live in the simplest of huts without running water or electricity. Corn is still ground manually. The rhythm of agriculture influences both the material and the spiritual life of peasants. As a result, work in the fields, which changes with the seasons, is closely connected to social and cultural life. For example, when crops ripen and an expected harvest is uncertain, all festivals connected with luck in the future are prohibited. If you would sooner experience animals in the wild, you can visit the nearby Sariska National Park for a safari. You can tour the most interesting animals' breeding areas and their resting places only with an experienced guide. It is better to book the tour including accommodation in advance. To see local tigers and panthers isn't guaranteed, but you can observe less dangerous animals in much closer proximity. Sariska National Park in Rajasthan was proclaimed a protected area in 1958, and later it gained the status of a national park. Since the park lies in the Aravalli Mountains, its area of 788 kilometres squared is mainly a mountainous landscape. Apart from tigers, there are also other predators and scavengers like panthers, jackals and hyenas. Other animals here include deer, wild boar, rabbits, armadillos and many kinds of birds. And the best season to visit the park is between November and March. The government proclaimed the park a dark zone, in other words a place where human life is impossible due to lack of water. Despite that fact, more than 10,000 people living here in 17 villages who use traditional ways to get water refuse to leave with their cattle. In the years to follow, the villagers built countless dams so that the government had to proclaim the area a white zone. Thanks to their effort, local inhabitants have improved their standard of living, but they also save many endangered animals from dying out. The animals have enough water again, and the presence of the villagers give poachers no real opportunity. Jaipur, a pink city, radiates with soft hues of red. Red is traditionally the colour of welcome in India. Since 1883, when Crown Prince Edward visited the city, the whole historical centre of Jaipur shines with pink light. The capital of Rajasthan has always fascinated its visitors. The charm of the pink buildings has survived centuries. Though it might seem that the city is overcrowded and that the noise of the traffic doesn't fit the mystical buildings, Jaipur gives the impression of an enchanted city. The traffic jumble with so many different means of transport can literally petrify the visitor. In 1799, the Maharaja had a special palace, the Palace of Winds, built for his women in order to be able to observe life in the streets and not to be seen himself. Though it's more of a beautiful facade than a palace, the building met its purpose. 953 windows to look out from and to protect him from being viewed from outside. We enter a totally different world when visiting one of the many Hindu temples. People recite religious verses and sing hymns in the courtyard. Hinduism is a flexible religion which acknowledges many different ways to the same goal, freedom. What's most important is good karma, which comprises all actions of an individual during his or her life. Beautifully coloured gates lead visitors to the complex of the City Palace of Jaipur. The main 7-storey building, Chandra Mahal, is still inhabited by the Maharaja's descendants. At the beginning of the 19th century, the Maharajas lost power to the British even here in Rajasthan, the country of kings. When King Edward VII was crowned, the then Maharaja had sacred Ganges water transported to London in the two biggest silver vessels to be found in India. Both the vessels still give testimony to the present of the king deprived of his power to his British sovereign. Still, the palace area of 5 kilometres squared and its decoration show that the Maharaja's power was lost, but not so his pride in Rajasthan's culture. We meet the simple rural Rajasthan right in front of Jaipur's city fortifications. There are so many old palaces in Rajasthan that not all of them are preserved as museums or exclusive hotels, but serve as a scene for elephants having their bath. The elephants are washed and rubbed. Then they may have a short break from their work of carrying tourists around. Normally these pachyderms carry tourists up the nearby hill to the Amber Fortress. Whilst visiting Jaipur, you must make a trip to the Amber Palace. It lies 11 kilometres to the north of the city, and it is as beautiful as the palace in Jaipur. Amber was the capital of the Rajputan kingdom for 6 centuries before Jaipur was. The palace is from the 17th century and is very well preserved. It's a marked contrast between the bare mountain edges and the palace architecture with marble mirrors and pillars. Riding an elephant up to the Amber Palace is quite a thrill. Brightly decorated elephants from the Amber Fortress are popular subjects for the visitors' cameras, whereas owners of the stout pachyderms prefer to be lullabied by their animals into sleep. The elephants, which are a popular motif on cotton fabrics, are not painted but actually printed. A visit to one of the many manufacturers in Jaipur is worth it. They offer a number of different fabrics, patterns and techniques. The fabrics are printed 5 to 12 times with hand-carved wooden prints until surprisingly precise colours and patterns are complete.
Look at over there, these are not original color. After dry, then wash it, all colors change and permanent colors come out. Because we use vegetable dyes, natural dyes which is made by some flowers and vegetables. Just like a blue from indigo, red from sugar cane, green from mango leaves, yellow from turmeric.
Carpets with patterns and ornaments from Rajasthan's palaces are also made from natural dyes. Manual work almost seems to be a meditative practice, but a knot follows a knot. Such work can take up to several months or even several years if the carpets are big. There are more Persian carpets produced and exported from India than from Iran. The techniques of carpet making travelled from Persia to India a long time ago with the migration of local peoples. Small pieces of fibre on the reverse side of the wool carpets are burnt. The carpets are thus formally sealed. Then the carpets are bleached several times so they can be washed, cleaned and brushed and finally reveal their beauty to the light. A visitor to the country can experience an ordinary Indian weekday, but often he or she is surprised. You can best enjoy a variety of Indian impressions at one of the countless markets. An Indian hairdresser works outdoors, quite near to his potential customers and bystanders. The bright mixture of smells, sounds, colours and of different people is what makes the longest lasting impression on a traveller to India than all the most beautiful palaces and buildings. Every school day in India begins with a prayer. However, in the country, school children aren't a commonplace picture in India. Today there are still millions of Indians who can neither read nor write. In some federal states, the rate of illiterate people is over 50%. That's why even a small village school means progress. Nevertheless, the teaching aids are simple, and only the teacher is privileged to have his own table and chair. One teacher looks after both classes in the village school alone. Whilst computers are a matter of course in offices in Delhi, these children have to manage without any books. Uttar Pradesh is one of the most densely populated states in India, but you can find here places of mystical peace and vastness. One such place is Fatehpur Sikri, an abandoned city of Akbar. Akbar, who ruled almost over the whole of northern India in the 16th century, had Fatehpur Sikri built into a city that would embody his imperial vision. As the legend says, Akbar built Fatehpur Sikri, the city of victory, after his long yearned for son was born. A holy man living in the hills foretold this good news to Akbar. Akbar then built his palace city right at this very place. But Akbar resided in his city of victory for only 12 years. After Akbar's death, the city became a city of ghosts. In the streets of Agra, there is a turbulent Indian city life. The city with 1 million inhabitants has retained its medieval character. You can get everything that the local culture has to offer in small pictorial shops. Or you can follow the crowd and observe with wonder the different faces of Indian cities and people. The Red Fortress in Agra is a symbol of greatness of Mughal emperors. 3 generations of rulers developed the power and magnificence of this palace city, which used to have 500 buildings. Today, souvenir sellers work with their imagination in order to sell various goods to tourists. You could admire it from far away, from Agra's highest point, the Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal, a marble memorial, was built by the great Indian Mughal Shah Jahan in 1651 as a mausoleum for his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal, who died giving birth to her 14th child. Inconsolable after her death, he built this beautiful building from red sandstone and marble. It's a masterpiece of Indo-Islamic art. In order to create this stone sai, the best craftsmen were invited. They built the mausoleum with 22 domes, with minarets 40 meters high in each of the corners of the external wall. Mumtaz Mahal and later also her husband Shah Jahan shared a single place for their final sleep in the central building. Arches of the 4 great gates leading to all the cardinal directions are covered with calligraphic stripes of verses from the Quran that represent resurrection and paradise. The cypress garden with lakes has an area of 18 hectares. It's an embodiment of divine paradise on earth. This beautiful structure, lying in today's federal state of Uttar Pradesh, has become a fabulous symbol of the Indian subcontinent and for the whole world. Since 1983, UNESCO has regarded it as part of World Cultural Heritage. To round off our travels, we ought to have a look at a traditional dancing show. Indian dancers perform unbelievable routines dancing over sharp scimitar blades or over glass fragments without any pain. It's an art that should in no way be imitated at home. India boasts one of the world's oldest civilizations and cultures. Its thousands-year-old history is reflected in many magnificent buildings. This multinational, multicultural, multi-ethnic country is full of memorials, splendid temples, mosques and wonderful palaces. India's future as one of the biggest industrial countries seems to be bright in the new millennium. Varied landscapes and vegetation and diverse everyday traditions make up a bright kaleidoscope of images and impressions that you will never forget.